What's up, everybody, and welcome back to yet another banger episode of Scaranoia. It is I, Hugz. I am alongside the Jared Holmes, and some people say that he is Chris. Maybe he's just Chris. I don't know. He's a Chris. Apparently, I was abducted by Bigfoot and things of that nature, but we took a pause from that, and they allowed me to go ahead and come back for this week. So we could discuss Terrifier 3. We finally watched Terrifier 3. Okay? And I'm so excited that Jared forcibly made us watch this. Maybe that's why I was gone. Maybe I was so grossed out from watching Terrifier 3. I was so terrified. I wasn't really terrified, but I was definitely disturbed that I just couldn't make it to last week's episode. But great job, by the way, guys. I actually enjoyed the dynamic. You know, of course, I always want to be there if possible. But Jared, I want to go to you first because, of course, is this your third time seeing it?
It was my third time seeing it.
Okay, so was there anything, sometimes the more you watch a movie, the more things stick out, the more times you see a movie, you find more things. Was there anything new to you this time or something you didn't notice the first few times?
So the rat scene still just fucks with me heavy. I mean, messes with me heavy. Whatever the word is that I'm trying to say. Like, because I was like this in a theater, like, and just like... Mm-hmm. Seeing it from, because I went to the theaters and seeing it on the big screen to, this smaller screen that I have here in my room, it's just different, honestly. I feel like the gore is more impactful on the screen, when you're watching it at your house, than the big screen.
More intimate?
Yeah, it feels more intimate. It's great, though. I love Terrifier 3 so much. But one thing that was missing.
Just three dudes getting intimate, watching Terrifier.
We've done it with our shirts off and pants off, by the way.
I mean, there are clips to come out, and you cannot see below the waist, so you do not know what we are wearing.
I could be.
That is factual.
I'm always nude, guys.
I promise you, the moment we get off here, he strips his shirt off and throws it across the room.
And it still looks like he's wearing a shirt.
That's the actual Sasquatch that kidnapped Hugz.
It was me. It was me, Austin.
Okay. So having seen the first two... You were right. The third one was much more intense. Absolutely. Now, going into it, this is the only one that I even knew anything about. And it was only the rat scene that I knew about. But I was kind of waiting for it the whole time. Just because, I knew, every time a scene was coming, because you would kind of give it away a little bit by being like, oh, something's coming. You were like a giddy little kid. This is going to be like...
Oh, yep. He swerved us a couple times where he was like, oh, we've got about 5 to 10 minutes. It's going to be okay. There's nothing crazy. And then 2 minutes later, it's like, oh, I gotcha. Like,
so being that it was our first time, what were your expectations going into it versus what you got, Chris?
I expected it to just be just gore porn, a gore fest. I thought it was just going to, that was all, you know what I mean? Just nonsensical kills, the over-the-top blood and guts and stuff. But we actually, as much as I don't like gore, and as much as it just... And you'll see in the clips, when they come out, my stomach was turning, and I did not know if I was going to make it through. But it was a masterpiece. It 100% was. I thought... I take back anything I've ever said about Art the Clown not being charismatic enough to be comedic as a horror villain without talking. He did an amazing job. This movie, I expected just an absolute shit show of just blood and guts, and I got a gorific masterpiece, I would say.
I would absolutely say I've always thought Art was hilarious. I just think, nonverbal comedy is I enjoy it. I think that he is one of the most creative characters. I got what I was looking for. I got the price of admission. I thought I was going to get crazy, over-the-top kills. I thought I was going to get gory, ridiculous stuff. But I think I got more than what I was looking for, because normally with most horror, at least the ones that lean on gore as much, they don't have story. But I'm really intrigued on the story of these characters, and the story of the sword and the father, the whole background of this,
Yeah.
of the main character. I forget her name. I'm bad with names for characters, but like the whole story of her growing up and like becoming this person that's like the chosen to, you know, be
Exactly.
the crux to this evil. So Jared, you talked a lot about the story and how with Final Girl she like became the ultimate final girl for you with this. I know you had some gripes with the story. Is there anything you want to talk about as far as like the story is
Yeah,
going?
I feel like 3 movies in, feeling like we needed more backstory on Art the Clown, man. Like I feel like, I mean, I'm sure Part 4 has to, right? Has to.
Now you said there was another movie though, right? Like Ninth
Yes,
Circle
the
or
ninth
something.
circle. Yes, there's a little Easter egg at the very end before she's holding the book that says the ninth circle. I've only watched bits and pieces of it because it was in Spanish or something, and I hate foreign language movies. Honestly, it's just hard for me to watch.
Thought it was going somewhere else. All right,
But
glad that landed
I
real
feel
good.
like we needed more backstory on Art. We're 3 movies in. Who the hell is Art the Clown? Where does he come from? Where does he go? Art the Clown, Cotton Eye Joe, you know? Like,
Yeah, I was gonna.
I feel like that's the biggest gripe for all the people that shit on the Terrifier film because there is no story, but yet they sit there and watch Hereditary and Midsummer and say, "Oh my God, this movie's so good." If you hate the Terrifier films because there's no story, grow up. We don't need a story really that much. As much as I want a story, we don't need it. I just want the next movie just for him to, from the beginning to the end, just be nothing more than a brutal gore fest, murder fest from straight to
He
finish.
wants what I was expecting for this movie.
Str-
Well, okay, go ahead.
just straightforward him just killing everyone, murking everybody.
So, what I really like, and this is what I was kind of saying, you say you don't need story, it doesn't require it, but it's nice to have, you do want more of it. That's kind of what I was saying as far as like the way Terrifier is, the way it's built. And typically, when you get those gory, like, you know, gore heavy movies, they don't have that same story, but it does add that extra layer. And I think it's what takes art from being a low tier horror character to the next level is like it does have this like underlying story, this underpinning story. Now, in 4, in this movie, there's like that 5-year break. In 4, they have to explain that, right? Like, why the fuck did they just sit there for 5 years and do literally nothing? Like, I guess because she was like in the mental institute or whatever. Like, you would think they could
But
still
why
go
is
off
also
and do
why is
whatever in
Art
that
tied
time.
to her? You know, why is Art tied to Sienna?
Yeah.
Nothing like I don't know. I didn't like that part. I forgot that part. You trying to alley oop me there, and that completely lost my mind. And yeah, fuck that part. That part was dumb.
Yeah, but Crispy, why do you think we got? Why did you hold your stomach like Santa
Oh
Claus? Like you're
no,
like,
dude! I'm
oh,
not
ho,
used
ho,
to
ho,
look. I'm
ho.
not look. I'm not used to being like this, like where I'm like everything. Because normally, like I could sit comfortably, and you're seeing like this much. But now it's
So,
like I always have. Yeah, that's
have you ever seen Talladega Nights?
yes,
Where you're like, what do I do with my hands? I
exactly.
don't. What do
That's
I?
how I
What do I
feel
do?
because like I'm like,
But you straight up did hold your belly like Santa. Like you're like,
here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna adjust this a little bit, okay? Because yes, reasons.
the 5-year break there made no sense to me unless they do something with it in Terrifier 4. But what would they do unless he literally did stuff and then came back and just sat in the same spot? Because she was like in a congealed tub. That, okay, we'll get to this in one sec. But like, they couldn't have done anything in that 5 years. So all they can do is just explain why they didn't do anything. But that's just frustrating to me. It was annoying to me.
I think I.
But
Okay.
go ahead.
I'll say I agree. I was scratching my head at the whole time, like, okay, like, why did we need this? Why did we need to have that whole element of like, I'm gonna sit in this chair 5 years later, I'm still sitting in this chair, and then these cops waking me. And I do agree with Jared. I don't get the tie, and I'm sure we're gonna get that in the fourth movie. I feel like with the story following 2, 3, and then going into 4, with Sienna and Jonathan being essentially like a part, like a main stake here, it almost I feel like it takes away from 1, like because 1 was not heavy reliant on any like one direction of a story. But like now, like I don't even think of 1 really. I think of 2, 3, and then what's gonna happen in 4.
Now, I'm going to come back to something you said in a second, but I want to get into my first major gripe, other than the 5-year thing. That's a story gripe. But just like a movie thing, she gets out of the tub. I forget the name of like the little whatever person that was following him. And then she was like clean. She wasn't like covered in the goop and stuff from being like covered in blood in there. And like, I'm just the type of person that I'm like, that just frustrated me that she wasn't. Yeah, like it didn't have that the continuity of whatever. And same with him. Like I mean, yeah, like okay, to a lesser extent, he was like covered in like spider webs and whatever. Like okay, clean it off real quick. But for her, it's much more egregious. Okay. And I even called it out when we were watching it. But that is one of my biggest takeaways from the movie, just because it takes you out, like because you're suspending your disbelief when you're watching stuff like this, and it like took me out of it. I'm like, that frustrates me. It's annoying. What does she have, like paranormal cleansing power? Like,
I have a gripe as well.
Maybe.
I have a big gripe. And I don't know if this will be edited out or what, because I don't know if I can say this on YouTube. But we need titties in the Terrifier franchise. We are 3 movies in.
We did for a little
We
bit.
couldn't hardly see them. We've only seen 1 pair of titties. We need nudity. Like, that's my biggest gripe.
Do you think
we
it's
saw
because
full-on
of the
sex in this movie?
You couldn't see her titties hardly.
Okay,
Until they got sliced. Oh my god.
I don't want to
Here's
see
my
sliced
question.
titties.
Vietnam flashbacks, bro. We saw. Ooh, that.
Do you think the type of movie it is would rely more? Like, is it the type of movie that would have more nudity?
You would think so. It's a slasher. Slashers and nudity goes together like milk and cookies, man.
Ham and cheese.
Like milk and cookies. Like lamb and tuna fish.
So I want to go back to something that Chris mentioned when he was talking about the storyline, and that is Jonathan. Is he alive?
If he's not gonna be, I'm sure if it comes out, like you'll see how annoyed I was. They made it seem like it was an off-screen kill and all this, and if he's dead, then he's a main character. You don't kill a main character off-screen. Dude, you cannot say he's not a main character. All right, Jared. You know,
He's definitely
it's your movie, brother.
Definitely a, like, I don't know what, like a title character.
Annoying.
I guess, but I don't know as far as like a main character. But because if he wasn't in the movie, I would be happier. Like, he was kind of annoying in this movie.
He's like that in real life.
He didn't fulfill
too,
any role for me.
Like he's like that in real life
Yeah, no,
too. Like,
I've seen his TikToks.
he just has such a punchable face. So I'm not mad if he is dead. I am not mad that they did it off screen because he was such a important character. I'm mad that we get to see this little clown get chopped up. Because
Okay. I don't think he's dead.
either.
And I think in 4, we find out what happened. Because when the uncle, who very much is dead, when the uncle goes to meet him, there was that weird phone call, and like it had the disembodied voice of Jonathan, like whatever. And I feel like if he does die, we get resolution of that in 4, where we actually see it happen and we see the whole thing that unfolded there. Or we see whatever happened and he runs away, or whatever ends up happening. There had to have been some sort of interaction between Art and him in that time frame when the uncle was going to come get him. Like, I feel like we'll get some sort of resolution for that.
And how does Sienna get to help? Like, how does she get to help to save Gabby? Or whatever the little kid's name was.
Did that portal close up?
Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't remember. But, yeah, well, Art's still out there, right?
Yeah,
Art is,
So,
yeah, because he took off.
I think a big chunk of it is just going to be her going nuts trying to track him down, but at the same time, she's going to end up she has to end up back in the mental hospital or in jail, right? Because all these murders took place in that house. They already thought she was crazy. Nobody believed her. So what would be the logical next thing to happen when, hey, my aunt, my uncle are dead, my cousin and my brother are missing, there's blood everywhere, body parts. Like,
Well, and also, like, I don't know. I feel like it all does point to her. Like, at least to a good extent of it. I feel like points at her.
what just
You
happened
just-
there?
Something kicked you over and said you will start recording on a new track. So,
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
got that too.
Something kicked you over onto something else.
Yeah, that's
Did
still
your
me,
AirPod
guys.
die or something? Or are you
Nope.
good? Oh.
No, those are tucked away.
But I think it's definitely going to be something where everything points to her. It's definitely going to be something where I don't think she goes back to the mental hospital. It's got to be like she's on the run, the cops are after her or something. Like if it does go back the route of the mental hospital thing, I really feel like it'll
I feel like
be
it stifles the story because
Yeah.
then what? Like you has to hinder. I think, like, well, I feel like at some point we get a flashback. I don't think we're gonna start with exactly what happened, but it'll probably will end up, her on the run trying to track down Art, and then we get some flashback of how she got to this point.
Well, because
Because I
she's
love
got to
those
have
flashbacks.
a continued, like, struggle. More than just
Yes.
art. Like, she has to have that secondary. I feel like that's what makes her truly the heroic character. She's not just facing art, she's also facing, like, these other, in this one, it was everyone's thoughts of her and her mental stability and all that. Like, everybody thinks she's crazy.
Plus having those
So-
like psychotic breaks where she's seeing all of her dead friends and stuff,
Yeah.
and
Which that still messes with me. What was I doing? I was doing something. Oh, I was cooking taco meat. Okay, so when you're cooking taco meat and it's got like the fat in there or whatever and it like bubbles, and it was because that one girl, like when they showed the dead friend and her head's like bubbling, and it literally was reminding me of that, and I was like,
Hell yeah, bro. Hell yeah.
can't wait to eat this meat. But like it literally had me thinking about that.
that's horrible. Like, I don't know, he's made my skin crawl there.
How about the bathroom scene? With the chainsaw.
Well, I was gonna say, okay, so like the shower scene, is that what you're talking
the
about?
shower scene. Thoughts on that?
Okay. So I was a big fan of that. We already talked about the chopped up, booby part. But I think what's his name, the roommate, was kind of a badass. Because he took the one chainsaw and then still blocked him. Like he took the
Yep.
chainsaw to the arm and then still blocked. I'm like,
And he was able
That
to
dude's
shove
kind
him
of a
away
G.
too.
yeah, the dude's kind of a G. But
Yeah.
like, whenever they would like rip a body part off that was cut like that, oh, it just messes me up. Because I think it was
when
like
he
his
pulled it
leg
by the
that they.
legs and
Yeah, like that's what messes me up more than
and then
anything.
the
Is those,
chainsaw, right? Like,
Yeah.
why did we get like Terrifier 1? You got like the hacksaw down the
Yeah.
middle of the chick. Terrifier 3, you get the chainsaw down the middle of the guy, and you just
Yep.
Loved it, man. One of the greatest kills of
I
all
bet you-
time.
I
Well,
want
and
Jared. I need Jared to take a psych evaluation because I'm convinced that Jared is like a psychopath.
I have no doubt. But then my favorite part of that whole scene though is the putting the glasses on, and then the boop of the nose,
Yes, yeah, that was that.
Dude, the Snow Angels was elite
and it was
too.
like that was also cool. But from her, I feel like I'm Sean because I like rolled my. If you look, it like curls up a little bit, getting a Pittman going. But they talked about, she was like, oh, feeling his breath and being that close and all this,
Looking
that
in
whole
his eyes
conversation
and
she had.
being like a step away from death or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So then it like occurring, like I really liked that it had that moment,
Where he's
you know?
just like, because he overheard the whole thing, and he's just like, "Hi," and she's just like,
And then he,
"I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm not built for these types of movies. Okay, I'm not."
Yeah, he's built for movies like
I'm
Harry
trying to
Potter.
think of the one that messed me up the most. Hey, Harry Potter's elite. I'm trying to think of what kill messed me up the most.
The rat scene.
The rat scene was pretty messed up. It was pretty messed
Master-
up.
No, the shower scene.
How about the kid
that's
getting
the one
chopped
that
up
got
in the
me.
beginning?
That was pretty messed up, but you don't see it. The other thing, when they split the dude's head and they like rip,
Oh yeah,
like
when they
that
did
was
the
pretty
Chris
messed
Jericho?
up. Well, that because they were not that one, not the Chris Jericho. This is the dude that was one of the guys that was working in the
Yeah.
in the room. Yeah, because that's when she takes the shard of glass. Because that's what messed me
I
up.
love it.
Okay. was because it is occurring. She is self-enjoying with a piece of glass while that is occurring. So I was like, my brain couldn't decide what I was more disturbed by. So it was almost like I was overloaded because I'm like, there was so much happening. I was too overstimulated. I mean, she was too, apparently. But I was just like, my brain couldn't decide which one was more messed up at the moment. So it was almost like, I don't know. It's like my brain was like, this is okay. Everything is okay. It's like that meme where everything's on fire and my brain's like, everything is okay. This is okay.
Didn't the liquid nitrogen kill too, where he ripped the beard off the Santa?
That was pretty messed up. I called that too because when he said, to be a real Santa, you gotta have a real Santa beard. I was like,
Dude, I love that scene, man. That whole scene was one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
That might be the most messed up one because like him freezing stuff and then breaking it, like
amazing, bro. Awesome. The entire practical effects team did such a good job on this movie, though.
It was really good. It was really good.
I'm a big practical effects guy.
What about them blowing up the presents?
Oh, I love that.
Blew up all those little kids, bro. Like, they killed kids twice in that movie.
Dude, I hope in the fourth one they actually decapitated kids.
Bro, I was kind of shocked by that because I was like I wasn't. Because seeing him give the gifts and everything, I'm like, sometimes, like, it's like the Joker. You know what I mean? It's like, there's like a redeeming quality almost of like, whatever. But then you have to remember, he's like a demon. It's not like this is like a guy that's just got, you know, mental illness or something. Like, this dude is a demon.
He washed the dishes, at least.
That is true. And he held the door for somebody at some point. He did. I remember that. I remember him holding the door for people.
He's a good guy.
For the frat party.
That's what it was. For the dudes with a keg. I mean, when you're carrying a keg, somebody opens the door.
I think Art the Clown's a good guy.
But so that would have been the point where he would have got the brother, right?
Yeah.
Is when he went there?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. We would have... I'm saying we need a resolution in there. Like, that's where we need the resolution. There had to have been another scene that has to be in 4.
Yeah.
No one signed on for Terrifier 4 yet besides David Howard Thornton. But Terrifier 4 may not even be made.
It makes too much money not to be made.
Bro, then this is the worst series of movies in movie history.
Well, because didn't 3 get like crazy box office?
I don't like stuff ending on cliffhangers and not being wrapped up. I think that is shitty.
Terrifier 4 was confirmed, but then there was some political shit that happened, and I don't know what's going to come out of it.
Political shit? Is Trump in Terrifier 4? Is it Trumpifier?
No, Damon Leon said so.
Terrifier 4, Trumpifier.
Damon Leon kind of like threw some shade at David Howard Thornton, who's very left-winging.
I was waiting for you to say Elon's...
I'm just saying, there's no Terrifier with David Howard Thornton. You're not going to replace him.
Oh, no,
I was waiting for you to say Elon's going to be the one with the chainsaw this time. It's going to be Elon coming through with this Doge chainsaw. That's a horror movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so you said he's the only one that signed on, though, right?
Yeah, he was. They did confirm he was going to come back. But also, I think it'll be to the end of 2026. Like, it's not released this year. It's released next year.
Is it? Damn.
How long was it between the first and second and third?
The first to the second. 6 years from the first and the second, and then 2 years from the second to third.
Well, because the first one was more kind of like a cult class. Like, it built slow. Like, it wasn't like... out of the box. Like, it took a while for it to really gain popularity.
I didn't watch it until right before the second one, honestly. I'd never even heard of it.
I do feel like Art the Clown has like so quickly become like such a big character though.
Oh, for sure.
So one thing I was looking up, so I was just trying to look up what if I could find anything on what Jared was saying, but I couldn't. But one thing I did find, like, I just Googled like issues or problems with Terrifier 4. And one of the main things that, like, when you Google it, you get the AI, like, hey, this... It said the fact that they have to... What was it? That they're going... Because, like you said, Hugz, there's no backstory for Art the Clown. Or no, is it you, Jared? One of y'all. That they have to over-explain it now in the 4th movie, and that's gonna like, dilute the movie. And I'm like, damn.
I mean, I don't feel like they really have to over-explain it. You could just drag it out through the entirety of the movie, like breadcrumb it throughout the movie. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it would be easily done. It's not, I mean, okay, at the end of the day, we're not talking about Gone with the Wind. We're talking about fucking Terrifier, okay?
Yes,
Like,
Gone
they
with
have
the
to
Wind.
give us, like, a little bit of narrative on it, and then we'll be happy. Be like, this is what he is, this is why he's that way, boom. Like, when I say Gone with the Wind, I'm saying we don't need, like, a 4-hour movie that's, like,
Was that
leaning
4
into
hours
it with,
long?
like, I don't know if that's 4 hours, but it's
I was
extremely
like,
long.
damn.
It's very long. All those movies are super long. All those, like, old classics are, like, way longer than they need to be. But overall, okay, let's give our overall ratings, because we're coming up on a half hour here, so I want to give our overall ratings for the movie. And then there'll be our clips on TikTok, on YouTube. We'll have some stuff up, and I may have a special version posted on my reaction channel as well, Hugz and Fam. So we'll see what I can get posted over there as well, but it'll definitely be on our TikTok and our YouTube right here. So be checking those out. Scaranoia or Scaranoia Pod, wherever you're at. Okay, so let's start with Chris.
Because I still don't know what happened with Jonathan, and the implication is that they killed him, I'm going to give it a 9.5.
Okay.
I'm going to give it a 9.5. Because overall, even without that, and as much as I hate blood and gore, the story was strong, and it was a phenomenal movie. It was. I can give credit where credit's due. Unlike Jared, who if he doesn't like one little thing about it or doesn't like the entirety of the idea, he hates the whole thing, and it's a 0.
As it should be.
9.5, super high. I'm going to go 8.3. And I think that's still a very, very good score for me. Like, I know I don't do reviews like y'all do or whatever. So for me, that is very high. Like, going to like a 9 is like the ultimate greatest movie of all time, and nothing will probably ever get a 10. But I'm going to say 8.3 because there were little things, like, it felt like when they did get to certain parts of the story, it dragged a little bit. There were little areas that I'm like, this could have been whatever. The Jonathan character part, the annoying girl with the podcast, like, some of that was like kind of whatever. The kills were really good, but it was, I think a lot of it is going to be the art character development through this, like as far as like his comedic timing, the kills, and then the creativity of the kills are what drives most of the score for me. But I'm going to say 8.3. It was really, really good. I definitely highly recommend. If it's above an 8, take your time to go watch it. So.
Yes.
Jared, I figured I would give the last one to you, as you are the ultimate of horror reviews.
And as for me, I've reviewed this movie 3 times, and I've gave it 3 different ratings. First time was a 10 out of 10, just because of recency bias. Second time was a 9.5. This third time, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10, due to multiple reasons. The kills in it, obviously fantastic. Soundtrack was whatever, but it misses points on just the beginning of the movie, which does not explain the 5-year just plot hole, and also just the story just wasn't fully there. But also, I can get rid of the story and enjoy it for the kills, but I can't give a movie a 9 or a 10 based off kills alone. It has to have a good story and other stuff added to it, so I get an 8 out of 10.
See, I'm on the other side. I think aside from the 5-year gap, I thought it was a great story continuing off of Terrifier 2. And it sets up Terrifier 3, or Terrifier 4.
Thank you, Shane, for joining the podcast. I'm gonna, like, every episode we're gonna thank Shane. There were just parts of the story for me that either dragged or just I felt like they were missing. Like the Jonathan plot hole, the opening I thought was a little too long with the Christmas story. Like, it was cool and whatever, but I felt like it just dragged a little bit for me. But I wanted to get right into it. That was the thing.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like, I didn't care about the kid and the people and stuff, but I don't know. There's just a little parts of it, the 5-year gap, the continuity issues that I had there. The ending was like interesting, but it was also like, I don't know, just kind of sketched. But overall, 8.3 is still extremely high score for me. So I mean, I definitely.
I can't believe out of all 3 of us, I rated it the highest. Maybe I'm messed up.
Exactly. You're the one that needs to get a whatever mental evaluation. But thank you guys for tuning in to Scaranoia. We went over Terrifier 3, enjoyed it a lot. Hopefully you guys enjoy the clips of the reaction that we post, and you can check it out. If there's other movies you want us to see or check out or recap review in this type of format, let us know in the comments.
I want to
Shout
have a
out to Server
conversation.
who comments on all our stuff.
Exactly. I was going to say, I want to have a conversation, okay? We can only go as far as we can go together, but we need your guys' interactions in the comment section. In the comment section. Let us know these
Thanks.
things. Tell us what you want to hear about. Tell us if there's a conspiracy theory that you want us to research, because we will. Tell us if there's a movie you want us to watch, because we will. Do it.
Maybe.
Comment.
Unless it really sucks. If it really sucks, then I'm
it
just
really
going to
sucks,
make
you're gonna
a
get your feelings hurt.
40-minute podcast of us just roasting you. I'll look up your Instagram. I'll look up your Twitter. I will find your yearbook photos from like when you were in junior high. That's right. And we'll send you something, but you won't like it. It'll be a postcard of somewhere you don't like.
Yeah.
It'll be
you had a bad
postcard.
time at San Francisco? I'm going to send you a picture and a postcard from there.
I'm gonna do.
That's right.
I'm in
I would
California.
enjoy my time.
I'm gonna tell you shit on in your mailbox.
I think it would be funnier on the mailbox.
On the
Like they just
mailbox.
walk out and there's just like a straight soft serve cone just on the mailbox. All right, but thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next week.